last time on the Empire's Edge.
How protective are they being over this weapon that we've retrieved?
As a reminder, dear listeners, DMs are always evil and always acting against you.
What struck me as unusual is that it's radiant damage. That seems like something that would be a surface.
It really seems like there's not exactly a schism, but there's some debate about this thing and what's happened. And again, you get the sense that you guys are part of the tallying that's going on in their heads.
I know what that is. Does Boris know what that is? A Dairn's instant fortress.
As I look around, so as I get this impression that he's not really selling this stuff, this is like some kind of signal.
Can I, using Thieves' Cant, do some sort of a way of giving a nonverbal idea to him, I don't know, like rubbing my nostril, like let's have a conversation kind of a thing to see if
that's
the direction he's kind of going?
And he does. He picks right up on the concept, and there is a mental pinging that he's teaching to you right back at the same time. You can imagine very soon that the council probably will be summoning you again. They just need some time to look over that Umbra Hulk weapon, but things are moving fast because power is shifting down here in Chetakdan. So it doesn't take that long, and you are called. You're all summoned back into the council once again.
Within a few hours, or
yes, a few hours later. So if you had time, you wanted to do something else, you could go ahead and do that.
Yeah,
but they'll be calling you in,
organizing and taking inventory of our stuff.
I'd actually suggest we have a quick meditation.
Wait, so they can't see that face you made because that was a telling face. What do you mean by face you made?
Well,
what do you mean by face you made?
When we meditate,
person who didn't say that.
When we meditate, we go up the rope.
Yeah. Rope trick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to deploy rope tick.
Never seen anyone do
rope tick.
Rope tick.
Rope tick.
Never seen anyone do air quotes with their face.
Yeah, it was terrifying. It actually split apart. It was like a Pearson's Puppeteer, if you get that reference.
Yeah, nice.
I suggest we meditate.
Yeah, so you did it again, but they got it this time.
Okay, so
right.
so we.
I got it the first time.
We've already said rope tick. We know what you're talking about.
So we go up the rope.
Yeah, not a problem. You cast it, you set it up, you climb up.
Did you guys come up the rope with me?
Oh no, I waited until after you, and then I went up.
So I am getting the feeling that they may never release us. So this guy who we just met.
I'm getting the exact opposite feeling.
This guy who we just met has sources that are bringing him stuff down. That means somebody's going up. I just want us to think about this. I think that we are such an amazing source of endless surprises and resources that they might try to keep us down here for quite some time. And I think we need to start pursuing our own avenues to get out of here.
Okay. He didn't talk about going to the surface. He talked about trading with rock demons and shadow demons.
Right, yeah, they were some other kind of something.
So that sounds like there's a different race of beings, and we may, with that, be jumping from frying pan to fire.
Well, we've proven that we can handle fire pretty well.
True.
So
I think engage with my point, not my words, please.
I think we just need to be aware and keep our ears open, because I think there could be a way to get us to the surface, and I don't think these people are going to release us easily.
If we really want to get out,
ants.
they're sending on us enough missions. We could very easily get away from the small outfit that they always put us
Yeah, but
with.
we still can't get to the
but
top.
just underground. We're just lost again. We're actually in a worse place than we were in Vartangrov, because at Vartangrov we had supplies.
Oh.
From what? Thug?
Yes.
From what Thug was saying, it sounds like we operate on a scale beyond what even the cult, the weird ones, operate on.
Yeah, he didn't turn that it moves much faster, and you make big steps, big risky steps, and you've been successful at it.
Right. I'm not sure they would try and retain us for an extended period. I mean, I agree, we keep awares, and if they try and do something funny, we demonstrate the lack of wisdom in that course of action. But I'm not getting that same sense.
Okay. Well, let's just stay aware.
All right, so you come back down out of it again.
Yep.
And you don't get any kind of a worry or some kind of a where have you been from Shatask, because Shataska had said sometime before that seemed kind of normal from what their experiences have been when dealing with demons. All right, so then those couple of hours go by, and then Shatask does come into your heads and say that you're being summoned by the council.
Let's go to the
Yeah,
council.
So,
yeah.
do you gear up in any particular way, or just the stuff you have on your persons?
Usual gear, though, in the couple hours intervening, because that meeting sounds like it took a total of 12 seconds. I will want to, kind of take stock of what we have and what we have that is valuable in this suite.
Okay. All right. So when you get there, you get before the council. Go ahead and roll insights for me.
Okay.
Is it insights as to why you went?
You did like a like smack.
Oh yeah, that was loud.
23.
12.
Five.
I was communicating in
Inurriak.
Inurriak, right? I'm sorry. What were the numbers again?
Schlop.
23.
Wow.
12.
5.
Okay.
Man, you're good at insight.
I know, right? It's my best.
I'm not sure if you have a non-verbal way to communicate it, Zelen, because I know
do.
Natalie
We do.
would. But you can sense that there is a great amount of tension in this room. Normally, when you walk in, you never noted that before, but you could see there's been some sort of a decision has been made, and you would think that it's splitting the council. That maybe somebody had to cow somebody else, or had to pull a particular string to get people to come in line again. But
Do I see anything? Like, are any of the ribbons different? Does it look to me like maybe one council member has been replaced with somebody else? Is the order? Can I tell if the order they're sitting in is different? Are there any cues that would tell me there's been a power shift?
There are no cues with that. If anything, it's that distant chatter that's always kind of pressing at your head.
Okay.
So the ribbons are the same. Their order seems to be the same. That you would think that if you had walked into this council for the very first time just now, that you would think that this is just how they operate. But because you've been here a number of times, that you can note this difference.
Do I note any response from Shatask?
Shatask still seems kind of new to being in the council
Okay.
itself. So no, you don't from Shatask.
Are there any more guards around?
No, it's just the way that it typically is on most occasions. So as you come into it, and once you're set there, one of them simply begins and says that we need to move things, and so we're bringing you into part of our plan. Kreen'Ochrogin has been arranging talks with Ogdek Thul. Ogdek Thul is Gagindrog's largest supporter. We're making trade negotiations for various stuffs, but all of that would be a ruse. We are actually looking to make a raid against their clan home, and we want you to lead that raid.
Whose clan home? Which one?
The clan home of Gagindrog's largest ally, Ogdek Thul.
Okay. And what's your goal for this raid?
We would raid for drones.
Any people?
Well, fancy livestock.
Oh.
Things that do the work.
Have we gotten an itemized list of what we need to accomplish for them before they set us free?
Exactly. So does this then complete our mission for you?
And a buzz comes up, and then all of you are blanked out. And then when it comes in, it's a different voice, and it says this and one other task. And then we will find your way to the surface for you.
Can I make a siegecraft check to assess kind of the going of the war?
Yeah, go ahead.
23.
It is, in essence, a Cold War, so it doesn't have the same,
Yeah, it's not the Reclavinians versus
conscripts and
Theocens.
battles that way.
What I was gauging is that this is a staging thing, that they're depleting the resources of their opponents, potentially either then slaughtering those drones or inculcating them somehow, and then launching the major decisive strike.
That would make an awful lot of sense. So, what did you roll just now on your
23.
Yeah, actually, gosh, your numbers are just so big anymore that you would figure that would
That
be
is my biggest skill.
that would be their most likely ploy. That if they can make a raid against one of Gagindrog's largest allies and knock down their drones, then that would put Gagindrog in a very, very weak position, and that'd be the time to strike. Now, what you've also gained about Inurriak is that is not how Inurriak typically fight each other. That's not how they play normally. So it seems like they're breaking their own rules to do this.
I'm going to relay the insight I gained and then that opinion of circumstances through Usud to the two of them, just the two of them.
Okay. Yeah, so you get that thought from Boris that they really do think, well, one, he's being accurate, and that is that there's this raid and then maybe one direct confrontation, then the whole thing's over, but that also this isn't how they play war normally.
Why not take drones directly from Gagindrog?
Gagindrog would be still strong enough to stand against us. It isn't just that we're weakening Gagindrog. By weakening all of their allies, other allies will fall away from them when they realize that they have lost the image of power, the image of leadership.
And if I could speculate, I'd bet, since the council said they're using like some kind of a negotiation, that this is kind of, they're using, nominally how it's done, that from what I can guess with, that usually there's, not this much
direct confrontation.
Yeah.
So what you guys have picked up on over the course of time would be that it's very slow. That it's small, like economic moves, political moves, signs of face, like a.
They need the cover.
Counting
they can't
coup.
get into Gagindrog to take the stuff without a massive expenditure of resources. But if they're moving nominally in kind of like a suit for peace sort of thing, they could then get into the other compound and take the stuff.
Yeah.
Does this again have to be a hidden mission like the last one we went on?
This raid will involve subterfuge. That you would be going in as you are an honor guard to delegates that are in for a portion of this negotiation. And then once you're there, you will break off from the delegation and conduct the raid, and then rejoin the delegation and exit their clan home.
And will it be known that you are the ones that took these drones?
It will be out very quickly that we were the ones that had spearheaded this. It will be too difficult to hide. And then things move fast. And again, there's this kind of buzz and flurry about their council chamber that you can tell that it terrifies at least half of them at how fast this is moving, that they are very uncomfortable with it. So with your insight roll from before, Zelen?
Can we do new insight rolls so we can get in on this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or at least I could, so that I could relay to them.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. But
Oh, that is so much better than a natural one.
what? Oh, yeah, the very opposite of that. Very, very nice. You're 20.
Okay. I am down by 1, so 11 instead of 12.
24.
Okay, right,
You're welcome, you.
so
Thank you.
two-thirds of the party are suddenly like, oh yeah, we get it.
Can I do a siegecraft? Because I seem to be more successful with that, and it seems to be working.
Yeah, not on this one. There was really 3 options when it comes to what are they going to do with all of you. You're very concerned, Zelen, about them not ever letting the resource of you go. That's a possibility. But with what you're gauging right now, you think that's a very small possibility. That there might be a contingent among this council that would want to hang on to you guys because you're really powerful and it's quite the resource. But then the rest of it seems not even quite 50-50. Maybe it's more of a 60-40 split among the rest, that either they probably think just killing you, if they could do it, would be the most expedient thing because this is moving way too fast. And this group wants to run by the way they always have, and that is a certain type of leadership, and they themselves are flying in the face of how Inurriak operate, how they think and how they work. And yet they still are using this resource to bring about this change to go, put it this way, back to the old ways. You were getting that before when you guys were talking to Thug. So the last part of that group probably either wants to, like one part would probably want to just kill you if they could, but they already figured they probably couldn't. And then the rest do want to get rid of you. You think they do actually want you out of here, but they might not be quite sure how to do it.
Okay. So they all want to get rid of us, either just kill us straight out or have us do some stuff and then
lead us to the surface.
And a very minority portion that might actually want you to stay around because you're beneficial.
Right.
Either they're young and experienced, or maybe they themselves are already changing
Part
the
of the
way
cult.
they think and they operate, right? Because
Well, yeah.
cult thinking is like that.
We just learned from the Thug.
Yeah.
Thug.
Yeah, we just learned from him what to look for when we're looking for this, secret society that's in here. As we're talking, can I look around and see if I'm seeing any sort of an indication? Is there
it was a telepathic gesture.
It was a
though.
I know,
thought
like,
gesture.
you've
Yeah.
gotta
So,
do the
so
thing.
you make that. Go ahead and roll that as a straight up intelligence roll for me.
aha. Okay. Straight up intelligence, 16.
And when you do that, you get what would be tantamount to a ping back, and it's from one of the council.
Oh, I knew it. I called it. I knew it.
So
Okay.
that one's probably the most dangerous one to us. That's probably the one that wants to keep us.
Okay. But can I tell, was that the one who's been talking to us? Or is
No,
it
it's
just...
one of the ones that have stayed quiet
Okay.
to this point.
So what resources will be provided to us to help us with this raid?
It is a large delegation, and there will be numerous guards and drones. You will also have the use of the scent for that clan home if you wish to use that.
Can we have
Probably
the...
good to influence the drones, yeah.
I mean, are they also giving us use of the... Oh, what was the thing called? Did we ever get a name for it? The thing we just retrieved.
Mergic Scarab? Oh, the
ray gun?
The rail gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rail
The
gun.
rail gun?
no, doubt that.
They no, they would not be lending that to you.
Yeah. Fair.
Worth a
It doesn't-
shot.
Doesn't exactly sound like
You want to upgrade from your bow?
subterfuge. I mean, yeah.
Kaboosh.
Doesn't exactly sound like
Why'd
we're,
you bring
we're-
that?
We're going in quiet.
Yeah. So they.
Well, it sounds like we're going in quiet and then we're leaving noisy.
When is the mission expected to leave?
the mission is ready to leave. We want you to go now.
Oh.
Yeah, as long as I brought all my gear with me, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You're
if-
only down the one spell slot, so that's not bad.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So you are then moved out into
These guys
like
really don't get, arrangement for events, do they?
Yeah, but also they complain about things going too quickly, and we're the ones who go like, now.
Now.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think they're trying to react to us going fast by going faster.
I think that would be exactly the case. Without me rolling new insights, with your roll of 11, you must have gotten it, boys. that is the case. That they are, and you can see it, and that's part of the friction in their own council.
Sood had an insight of, 17.
Yeah, so
His plus is actually better than mine by one. So
that's who actually knows and tells you back, hey, boss. That you do think that's part
why
of the
I
case.
hired him.
Jacob, you're pretty sure that they are reacting so differently that to them, it's an on-off switch. It's to operate how we would normally do or completely differently, and they are toggling that switch back and forth with each issue. So it is communicating that there is a fracturing inside Kreen'Ochrogin, which could be its own dangerous thing.
Interesting.
All right, so the delegation forms up, and there are a number of soldiers and a number of drones. There is, of course, Shatask is with you, along with Iskin Thovit, and then there are other, you would say, probably at the level of ability that Shatask used to be, and one who apparently seems to be like of a sage level, but not a member of the council.
They're the ones that brought the scent.
The scent.
The stink?
I was gonna say the stink.
But before they leave that amassing chamber, with that particular, unlike the last time with the when you guys were up there on that ledge trying to, that one sage was there that you haven't seen since that time. This doesn't seem to be quite the same degree of risk or of importance, or maybe they've thrown all caution to the wind because they have what seems to be almost like a resin. It would be like a cube of material, not like a bottle of something. And they're extending this to you, Jacob.
Oh. So I take it, I look at it.
And
what's it smell like?
Well, it smells like everything down here in Chatakdan. It just has that smell. You'd be able to tell the subtleties of one to the next. But you are
Lilac.
sure that it's that little pellets of lilac that you... but yeah, you definitely already would start to smell like them.
Okay.
He just handed you a cube of deodorant.
Essentially, I'm wondering, do any instructions come with this? If I click over,
No. Apparently they figured that
They're
you guys are
chewing
so
on it.
powerful that you guys know what you're doing at this point.
Okay.
I'm happy to lie to them.
All right. So then,
So long as they believe that.
so the delegation heads out into the main thoroughfare, and you're proceeding up along that main thoroughfare. And again, most of the inhabitants, all the Inurriak that are there, they're pushing back out of the way, allowing the delegation to pass. And you are more aware of and how things have been, where it looked like just, well, sorry, a colony of ants. Whenever you look down into this main thoroughfare, you do get to see that there are different organizational patterns in it. And you're learning this, that there have been delegations moving through it at different times, and you recognize, as one of them, that you've seen these kinds of organizational patterns before, that it's not just been just a mosh pit of people.
Now that we've been here for a month,
I
we figured
know.
out they have traffic.
We've been here too long. We're recognizing
Oh,
this
it's
kind of
rush
stuff.
hour. Dang it.
All right, but you proceed through, but it doesn't
Yeah,
draw.
it's just drones. They don't count.
It doesn't particularly draw a whole lot of notice. That it seems to be a pretty normal thing for there to be processions from
I take my
one
turn with the
household
stinky cube.
to the number. Yes, you guys are passing it around, rubbing it up your sides and your armpits. I
Sure
guess.
hope this is what we're supposed to do. Is anyone looking at us weird as we're doing that?
No,
Good.
no. And then you get up to the house of
Pass it to Zelen.
Ogdek Thul, and as you're processing that way, the Inurriak, it looks like there are a couple of guards talking to each other on both sides. It's not Iskor Thovit, and they're talking conventionally. So,
What are they saying?
Oh, I forgot you were fluent. Because,
Yeah.
you finished the thing.
Yeah,
I've
we
been,
would finish the
I've been
stuff.
spending weeks with it, yeah.
Yeah, so Jacob, you pick up just listening to it that they are talking, saying what sounds like formalized speech. It is time that we approach your household. Our household is ready to receive you. And they go back and forth like this for a number of exchanges until, yes, we agree that we shall be as though members of your household. Then enter, members of our household. And then when all that seems to be done, this talk back and forth, the procession moves past those guards.
It's like a king entering a different city state.
I was like, did I just witness a marriage? Okay.
I'm rubbed with the stuff, but I'm going to try to stay central to the pack because I don't want to walk past these guards and have them wonder why I smell like them instead of smelling like.
Okay.
I look like a freaky Inurriak, so they're probably just going to not ask questions about me anyway.
They don't seem to, their place doesn't seem to be to ask questions at all, that they were there for that particular, posturing.
Exchange.
Peasants.
And then as you move in, you get into an outer ring, and then you go into, through the various exchanges around to the right, around to the left, into a central hub. And then as that central hub moves into a central chamber, that your escorts have stopped at the outside of that room, and for a moment it's just your party. And
Telepathically to Shatask, do we know where the drones would be?
there are drone warrens that would be in any household on usually the 5th or the 6th circle in one of the exterior rings, one of the exterior towers. So, and it makes a general gesture off to its left-hand side. If you proceed to the tower adjacent here and to the one just after it there, you will find numerous drones, and there should be at least one drone warren. We proceed straight ahead into their council chamber and negotiating chambers.
This seems a time to split.
I would
So,
agree.
This seems to be like their preparation room. Like if they had any last
An
things to say to each
antechamber.
other, right? That they're ready to proceed and move forward again. Let's see. And then they do. They're beginning to move forward until
we break off
when
to the
they're
left?
out,
Yeah.
and then you guys break off to the left. And then almost immediately when you walk in past that, you are being confronted by a shock troop.
Now we smell that like them, though, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
do you say
Telepathy.
or do what?
Just instructing, let us pass. In the same way I'd give instruction without clarification to a drone or a soldier like I did with the message exchange.
Right. And it reacts to it. So it takes a step back. You couldn't, it doesn't have nostrils to go and flare, but you do know that it would have scented you by this time.
Wiggly antenna shenanigans.
Right. And with that direct communication that would only come from a sister, that it's been given instructions not exactly the way it would come in, but enough that it triggers it, and it does. It steps back out of confronting you to allow you to pass through into the next tower.
I'm glad
great.
it can understand my accent.
Oops. You proceed through a maze of warrens. It is very complicated inside here, but let me just...
Do you have any
Is
way
there a
to
drone?
disguise yourself, Jacob?
I don't believe so.
Is there a drone nearby to us?
There are always drones moving around, but not really a number.
Okay, I'm just going to mentally grab one. Take me to the nearest drone warren.
And it turns about immediately and begins moving through this maze of passages
Got me a guide. I love this.
that you guys have to scramble because it seems that it has one speed. It's either like on or off.
Yeah, it is going or just not
And
going.
as you're going, you are going now up and then into a central circle and then across to a second tower. So you're now 2 towers away from the one where you guys split off from each other. And you go...
Zelen, you can make doors through stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you, as you walk through into that space, the drone moves to the right, and then it stops. And as you step in, it's a little unnerving to see because there could be maybe a couple hundred of them up inside here, up on the walls. They're doing something, either rebuilding walls, but there are drones all over the place in this Warren area.
Do we have any idea, like, the kind of things they say to each other in order to make them do things?
They seem to respond pretty well to just telepathic orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, are we waiting for a particular cue before we come out of here with these things, or should we just go ahead and get them now?
I wonder.
My cue is Zelen opening up a pass wall.
Right. I wonder if we can just open.
If we had that railgun, we can open up a wall wherever we want.
Okay, so I'm going to go. So we're on the outer circle. So if I open a hole in the outer wall, we're outside their towers, right? Is that where we are?
You'd probably be a couple of rings up, so you wouldn't be on the bottom layer. You'd be a little further up the wall if you went out that way versus going through just through their own main tunnel way.
Is it too steep for us to walk down on the outside of these things?
It varies, but generally speaking, yes, it's too steep.
Could we ride on a drone?
I was just going to cast spider climb on myself.
No, you and the drone would just go ass over
So
teacups.
I can cast stone shape. How many drones are we trying to take with us?
As many as possible.
I can cast stone shape 3 times. So I can open and close holes 3 times.
I don't think we need to worry about closing.
So
Yeah, they're going to find out about this anyway. So that
we're
means
just,
we can
we're
open
just punching
3
a hole and
doors.
stealing as many
All
of
right.
these as we can.
So we ready? Are we ready?
Yeah, are we doing? Should I say something to
Tell
them?
the
do they need
drones.
telepathic
Tell
or
the
do they need?
drones to line up. Maybe.
Well, I was going to address them all telepathically.
I was going to say I don't know. Did they need telepathic or did they need physical? I have no idea.
I think telepathic carries a greater authority,
Okay.
so it might work better to just override any instructions.
Yeah,
And you probably
maybe-
pick up on that you could tell them directly because soldiers do, but sisters, override.
Okay, so addressing as many of them as I possibly can. So, a telepathic kind of shout
Okay.
to all of them in this room, and it sounds like there's a lot. Stop.
Let's see. And there are, let me give a reaction to them. A great number of them inside here. It'd be too difficult just to get like a kind of a flash
Yeah,
count.
the count,
But a
yeah.
lot
I
of them
stop and count.
have stopped in what they're doing.
Zelen now.
So I cast stone shape and I open a hole in the wall.
All right. So what's the so the range would be fine. And what's the total area? How big's the hole going to be?
A section of stone no more than 5 feet in any dimension and form it into any shape that suits your purpose.
Okay. Well, the thing is
Well,
only
let's,
about.
Let's take a pause and go through the whole spell.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is only about 18 inches thick right here, so you could definitely go right through it. Open up. Big hole. Yeah. So, whoomp, hole is opened up, and you send them through. Or do you lead them through? What do you guys do?
I want to cover the retreat, and anyway, I need time to cast spider climb on myself when we get to the outer edge of the wall. I think you two should go first. You to open doors, you to cover her, and then I'll be on the back end.
Okay.
All right. So Zelen heading out first,
Yep, heading out.
and the drones they'd still need some kind of instruction at this point.
Follow the demon. Gesturing to Zelen, looking like Zelen.
As they start moving out, even ones that didn't seem to stop when the order was first given, when that order is directed to them to follow the demon, and Zelen and Jacob are heading out through that opening, and you can see that it is something of a steep run down.
Do we need any assistance
It looks
getting
like
down?
you have to be climbing down or have spider climb or something else because it would be too steep for you to just like walk over the edge and start walking down. But a huge number of them start picking up to move. All right, so you're into the next ring out, and you're in an adjoining passageway. But then as you gave that word, Boris, for them to follow, even ones that did not stop when you first gave them the directive to just stop what they were doing, a great many more. If there was a couple hundred in here, then you think that 3/4 of their number are now on the move.
That's a lot of these things to manage. All right, we got to go fast so that we keep them. All right, so I'm at the next. Is everybody prepared for me just to open the next
keep going.
Yeah,
port?
just
I'm opening the
her,
next
just
port.
keep going.
I'm opening the next port.
Yeah, I got arrow out, knocked.
Okay, and as you
hammer out, I think I will take an action to cast Spider Climb on myself.
all right. So then, as you move into that next ring, Zelen and Jacob, there is a soldier that's right there, and go ahead and roll in a knit with me.
Ah!
I'm at 8.
I am at 6.
Can you just tell it to step aside the way Boris did?
Well, it depends on since it's going first, we'll see how it reacts to me.
It is holding its ground because even though these are drones, everything smells the way that it's supposed to, so it doesn't know that it's not supposed to be happening this way.
This is weird.
So it moves forward, but only moves forward about like half a move, like 15 feet or so, and then comes to a
tell
stop.
it to help with the movement.
Yeah, that'd be so funny. All right, yeah. So I look at it and I say, like, your assistants, please lead us, and like clicking at it.
And let me just think what it's because it's like relative, like
I can
to
give you a roll.
How about one of you do the telepathic
You're-
ping just to check?
You're
Oh, that's a
clicking
great
to
idea.
see. Which of you do that?
He learned it. I didn't learn it.
I learned physical speech.
You all learned it.
We
Oh, we all learned it.
the
Okay.
telepathic ping to decipher the cult.
Okay, I'm going to do the telepathic ping.
All right, so it does not come back. He doesn't
Okay,
seem to know
all right.
what.
So he doesn't know what that is.
Doesn't even pick up on it.
Yeah.
It's invisible to him.
Do you want like a persuasion or
Yeah, go ahead and
like
make a persuasion roll to see how well you
or
do with
deception? Would that be any better?
that. I'll take whichever one is better for you.
They're both the same. So deception, 22.
11. Very nice. Yeah. So it gives you the click of affirmative and move to keep them from spreading out into that hallway. He's not
Perfect.
leading that way. He's keeping them from going in other directions. So
Nice.
moving through into the next one, your spell is cast, Boris.
Okay.
As you are at the end of that group, the shock troop that was behind you comes in, like he steps into that way, and just for the rest of that round, he's just taking in what's happening. But I want you to roll in a knit with him, and you just cast your spell, so your round's done too. 6, 7. I'm at 8.
13.
Again. So at the start of the next round, you're at 13. You can take action. They always look combative, so there's no way for him to look like he's gentle or just kind of scratching his head. He's coming into it to stop you, but it's difficult to tell really. Zelen, you're at the
Yep. So this is
outer wall.
This is my last opening.
And
so I open the outer wall.
all right, so as you open that area up, and they start to go through, they're climbing right down, but you can see that it is too steep for all of you to just climb down as it is.
Okay, but they're climbing down.
They're climbing
Okay.
down, just going straight ahead.
So then I'm going to
How
change.
far is the drop?
About 18 feet.
No. That's,
Ah.
So it's just 18 feet, and then you're on level ground
Then you're
again.
on the level ground again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can change myself into something that can climb.
2d6?
yeah, I was gonna say I'll take the 2d6. It's worth the spell slot.
So
Oh, good idea. Yeah, I'll
Can
do
I roll an acrobatics to try and lower that to 1d6?
yeah, do that.
My acrobatics is an 11.
You take 4 points of damage.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to do the same.
All right. You have acrobatics?
Everyone's got acrobatics.
21.
It's a dex
but
check.
unless you roll a natural 19. What? Go ahead.
22.
Yeah, yeah.
You take 3 points of damage.
There you go.
So very ungracefully, you fall down to the bottom of that. The soldier clicks down to you from above there, saying, "Should I proceed or watch at this point?"
Keep them on target or keep them focused.
And so it is. It's still marshalling them as they're coming through right there.
Do I think I could get a command through, the command spell through Usud's telepathy?
Oh, wow. Let me think about that one. So read the spell out loud to me so I can just hear the nuances of how it is.
Yeah,
in 5e.
right.
Does not work through mounts. I mean, I didn't.
Well, it requires a shared language, and the shared language I've been using is this telepathy, but my telepathy requires a relay.
Ah.
Yeah.
You speak a one-word command to a creature you can see within range. The target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or follow the command on its next turn. The spell has no effect if the target if the target is undead, if it doesn't understand your language, or if your command is directly harmful to it.
All right, so it would understand the language.
Dun dun dun.
So we have an interesting, because Usud is, a conduit of my magic.
Right.
I can cast through Usud, nominally speaking.
Right.
So I'm not trying to get him to be the origin point. I'm trying to him essentially to be a relay for it.
What's the casting range of the thing? 'Cause if it says
60
touch,
feet.
I was gonna say if it was touch, then
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, well, then I wouldn't have asked.
Yeah.
So I can't find a good reason why not to. And I like rule of cool, and that's really cool. So I guess it's going to add to our canon.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Sweet.
Go ahead.
All right.
Wait, you get a cannon?
I thought we didn't bring it along.
It's called this hammer. Have you seen the amount of damage I do? Of course, it requires my action, so I'm not there yet, but
Right. So you're casting. What are you actually communicating then?
Or I guess
it takes my action, so...
Okay.
Or are we back to my action?
Yeah, we're at that round. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. That's the confirmation I need. I'm casting Command. It has to make a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. And what's the command?
Guard.
It fails its saving throw.
I love that. Nat 4.
Nat 4. Yeah. So it gives you the the correct agreed.
Nice.
And he turns back and is now guarding that position, so nobody comes through to mess with what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I keep shepherding the
Drones.
Yeah, the drones along. Once the 150-ish?
About 150
Holy crap.
are pouring through this thing. Most of that
We
worn.
are so cool.
As they're filtering down there, you can see that there is and this be from Zell and Jacob's point of view, you guys see that drones out there in the main thoroughfare are moving about wildly, that they're like getting themselves
they don't
out of
know.
the way. Thing to call back, you can see like Jacob peripherally
Yeah.
that there are different buildings and different clan holds that are being walled up right now because obviously something really big is happening.
So I'm going to keep moving, trying to get them out of the
Yeah,
city.
who's at the? Are we still at the lead, or did they run past us?
Part of the group is ahead of you, so they're not sure where to go. You guys would need to
Right.
get way out there.
Do we
pretty
know where we're
quickly.
going?
Kreen'Ochrogin.
Yeah, back to
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have this thing that I haven't used. I've been holding on to it for a really long time. That Zellen gave me.
stone?
Like, yeah, the gem of Longstrider.
Right.
Nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and use that.
right.
And I'm gonna what does that do? Like doubles your movement speed
Yeah.
or something? Yeah. So I'll use that gem. It does it does something, or like increases,
It
like
make
gives
go,
you
yeah.
make go
Make
fast.
go fast.
So I use that. I dispel
That's
the
fabulous.
yeah
All right,
this
so-
thing that I've had for ages.
You initiate that, and you're so glad you've had it all this time, and you do get way out in the front very, very quickly. And when you get there, you could tell that they're just moving down the thoroughfare. Probably would have gone and then dispersed when they got to the wall or exited the cavern itself. So you can give them a pretty sharp turn and go right in through the loading dock areas into Kreen'Ochrogin.
And I do that.
Cool. On the other end of that, the rest of you, Boris, probably the tail end of the group,
Yeah.
you can hear Shatas.
Once the once kind of the tail of the drones are moving through, that there's no more, I'm going to telepathically say to the shock troop with me, and then start following.
Hey, is there any way that you can give an order? No, you're too far away. That to the one soldier, I was going to ask him to go inside and close the hole.
Oh.
That'd be something that they'll be like probably spoken to him or
Yeah,
wait,
but
I'm not sure he's that far
Jacob
away.
would have
Right.
to do that, and
I'm
he's
a
too
bit
far
far,
away.
yeah.
So one first things first. We've already determined that guy was listening to you. So he does. As the last one goes through, you and he are right there. He comes right through the hole with you.
Nice. And as I'm heading out, am I passing that soldier that we
that
told us-
soldier that's he's at the last ring going out.
Can I do an insight to pick up on that closing these gaps would be even more confusing?
Yes. Go ahead and roll it.
11. Usud had a 12.
I'm not sure that he even needed a roll for it.
Okay.
That you know that they close these things up to
Yeah, so
in times of stress and strife. So that would be very normal to do. But that would also eliminate how do they get out of here. That would do the same.
So instructing the soldier, seal these breaches after us, referring to myself and the shock troop.
He runs past the shock troop to where the rest of the drones are, and he's clicking out loud at drones because that's their job. He doesn't do that. And then you and the shock troop
I pass orders to servants, and servants get things done. I don't care who does it.
are through the last opening, and using his various limbs, he goes on all sixes and climbs his way down.
Spider climb is active for an hour.
You're just running, just running right down the thing, and you can see the lines just out in front of you, and Jacob way out in the front now turning it into Kreen'Ochrogin. And what I was going to say a moment ago, you could hear as you're giving directions to the shock troop, you could hear Shatask saying, "We're exiting the building now." That was very fast. And you can see their delegation coming out the front of it. And again, things are walling up all over the place, and the streets are clearing right now. You all are running back in that direction.
I stole me a bodyguard.
Boris, we're leaving.
And there are a couple of soldiers that are at the main entranceway, and they are in a fairly vain way throwing their picks. Like they're not moving forward. Like they've been directioned that they cannot leave that front wall, but they're throwing them. Oh, and I rolled a 1 and a 20.
Oh, geez.
So one missed by a lot.
Are they within, I think, 60 feet? Is that 20 hitting me?
They are within 60 feet, and that was aimed toward you, yes.
Sweet.
Why do they hate you?
Hellish Rebuke, or rather, Uko's Rebuke, to use the correct one.
Okay.
Need a dex save from it.
All right, and I still roll damage on you, though?
Yeah, when you get hit, it's a reaction.
I still get hit.
Okay. And you take 9 points of damage.
Okay.
And you said a dexterity saving throw?
Yes.
Of what?
DC 16.
And I fail it.
Okay.
Why are you attacking us?
Well, because we just robbed them.
They don't know that.
They're not that smart.
What proof?
An idea.
The 150 drones running
around the foot thoroughfare.
Oh, nice. The one that struck me just took 22 points of
chilly
lightning
crickets.
damage.
Wow.
So he hits me with a pick for 9, and his arc of light leaves from
Kaplash!
For country!
Yeah,
helping! Dunk.
So the shock troop that's near you is clicking at you right now, but you can't tell what he's actually saying until maybe you get Jacob to translate the clicks later. But
is he still with me?
Yeah, he's still with you.
Sweet.
Yeah, because you smell like one of the sisters, and that means that you're going to. He gave you direction telepathically. He'll continue to listen to you.
D&D is so weird.
The smell wears
He's
off,
with you because you smell like one of his sisters.
Wow, David. Context.
Exactly. All right.
Context, but that's still literally what's happening.
So, as you guys are getting into Kreen'Ochrogin...
More accurately, I smell like his sister's deodorant.
Man, these Chanel commercials are getting weird.
Turns out this podcast has been like a year and a half just for Old Spice.
By the time you get to the loading dock area, Boris, Kreen'Ochrogin is pretty much walled up too. That they've been doing the same thing everyone else has. And the whole city is going into a state of shutdown.
Yeah, I've got spider climb for an hour, so if I've been walled out, I can just go over.
Right, yeah, sure.
I mean, I'd prefer not to because that's likely to get stabbed. But...
No, they're leaving that open to get the rest of those drones in, and you guys are
How
right.
How are they reacting to, 1, 150 drones, and 2, a shock troop?
Well, yeah, that's very, very strange. So when you get to the actual border there, their shock troops are stepping forward, and you would be pretty sure that they're about to engage in combat.
Down.
It's just a matter of how well
I can cast command again.
Them. On whom?
I think with a second level spell slot, I can.
Why can't Shatask tell him to stand down? Isn't she right behind us?
Yes, the Stratton
There's a
delegation
better question.
Is
That's
right
fair.
there. Okay,
because these are our own shock troops from our own city, right?
So then, what are you saying to Shatask?
Shatask, tell him to let us pass. Let's get inside.
Well, she probably would have caught up with me more or less at the same time.
But if you're at the doorway, Zelen, which is what I was picturing,
yeah.
And sends that mental command, and those 2 shock troops stand down. So an enemy shock troop, along with about 150 drones, have come in through the area and are pushing into that space and feeding through. When you guys get inside, there's all kinds of mental barriers being put up as though some of the people inside this clan home are trying to shield, like telepathically, what has actually happened, and the others are shouting at the top of their mental voices at how successful they were. And there's a small contingent that's like,
Neeners and bug.
Oh crap, this is so wrong. Like how everything's going right now. But drones are being pushed through. Other drones come to those drones, like on a one-to-one basis, and are taking them and leading them down different tunnels and pathways. And it's not maxing out the drones at Kreen'Ochrogin, but you would think it's pretty close. That they had barely enough drones to handle those drones coming in, that you could have, if not quite, almost doubled. Their drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
So what about the shock troop? Is anybody approaching the shock troop to say, hey, brother, welcome?
It is being led by a sage at this point, and out of that room and into some other location.
Are you comfortable with letting go of your shock troop?
I don't care. Yeah, I can beat these things in a fight. So I took it for the meme, not because I thought I would keep it with me.
They're either going to reprogram it or try to, or they're going to go kill it somewhere. Yeah, one or the other.
Oh, poor
Boars brought dinner.
Yay, boars!
It is a resource denied our potential enemy.
Absolutely. So when you guys...
Oh, crap, I'm turning into one of them.
Yeah, so you are pretty sure that you have increased your drones, probably by, the drones for Kreen'Ochrogin by closer to a half.
Wow.
And you think you've probably knocked theirs down somewhere around like maybe even 3/4.
I mean, think about
Not
what
quite.
that does to the city, that they suddenly have... They've doubled their capacity for work. They've
Yeah,
doubled
the
their
hive.
capacity for
The
harvesting.
two hives are very changed.
Yes. Yeah.
Diametrically. But also,
This is how you fix unemployment.
Well, and that's... And so
You
now...
kidnap workers from somewhere.
Really, theft is the answer. The Kreen'Ochrogin has the capacity, and it kept jumping this way by volume, that it had so much more capacity for resource, that you guys kept saving it resources and bringing in resources, and you just did it all over again, that you're probably going to be putting them into a tailspin and making things move yet even faster. As all this movement is happening in this staging area, in the loading dock area, and it is sealed up behind you, everything's like as tight as a drum now, that the whole city's in lockdown, Shatask comes into your heads and says, nothing will move for a while. You should go back to your own quarters, and then moves off in its own direction. So when you guys get back, and you guys left like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And like you found out there was going to be a raid like 15 minutes
and
ago.
14 of those minutes was going there and getting back.
Yeah, pretty much. Just walked in, walked right through it. And
That was amazing. That really was pretty
We're
incredible.
getting really good at this.
Efficiency.
you're more Inurriak than what you'd ever believe you are.
I meant being terrorists, but okay.
That as you guys are in your rooms, just kind of like going, phew, that was fast. And what's going to happen now? There is a literal knock on your door. There is nobody in your heads.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I opened the door.
It's Shatask.
Okay.
And clicks to you, David. May I enter? I said David. I'm sorry. To you, Jacob. To you, Jacob.
I look at Jacob like, you going to take this or should I?
I'm not going to answer the door.
I respond affirmatively with another click.
And
Slap your
it
bagpipes
proceeds
back
in and allows you to close the door behind it and moves into the room as though it owns the space. It's completely comfortable there.
To be fair, I'm not sure we could actually quite cue on the body language of an uncomfortable Inurriak.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. But go ahead and roll. I guess if there's a different one apart from insights, but trying to pick up on those body language.
Okay, I had a 7.
I look at her in a combative
Usud
state.
also has a 7.
13.
8.
All right, so yeah, none of you can really tell what this thing's emotional state
I'm
is.
too
if
drunk
it is.
on power for bossing around an army.
That it starts, and most of this conversation then will be related through Jacob because it's not going telepathically. It keeps like clicking this out in old speech.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
So it doesn't want anything overhearing it. It's like the way to have a private conversation.
I whisper to Zelen, would we want to try opening up a rope trick?
I don't want her to know.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
But it clicks to you, Jacob, and says that your presence conserves so much resource. And the way it communicates it, even clicking it, it sounds like it's like mentally shaking its head. It's not like, wow, you guys conserve so much resource. Yeah.
For a
It's
moment,
like,
I thought you were getting hit on.
no, it's like,
Why do I have this?
you guys
effect on
conserve so much
characters?
resource. It's it's daunting that the old ways cannot properly be maintained, that they can't be addressed, they can't be respected because you bring so much so fast. Drone claiming is an old tactic. And again, all of this is just clicking, and Jacob's relating this to you at your own rate, Jacob. But it's rarely used. And when it happens, maybe 30, maybe 60 drones are claimed this way, and power shifts a little. But to have siphoned off a half, 2/3, maybe 3/4 of a clan's drones is unheard of. That house will probably collapse. And if it doesn't collapse unto itself, then Gagindrog will probably destroy it, thinking that it has turned traitor and changed alliance before we'd even come after Kreen'Ochrogin. So things are so different. Normally, when these things happen, it's a protracted confrontation that takes months, years, long periods of time where power shifts subtly. But this, you've had, what's it been? 4 major victories in a month? That's unheard of. And again, you'd think it would be just happy that its clan's doing so well.
Ask it if it doesn't appreciate if the efficiency of this isn't appreciated, how much a protracted war is going to cost significant resources.
You sound concerned. Is that not a good thing?
A protracted war would use the resources that are according to the proper ways to fight war. This is not the proper way to fight war. We have so much. It is like the last time
We're changing their technology.
we achieved great power that it was again at the hand of a demon. Kreen'Ochrogin jumped into the lead of power because of a demon like all of you. But then once he left, once he was eliminated, we went back to being a moderate house, not the greatest of houses. Are we doomed to do that again? Are we making a great mistake in our own culture to allow you to move us so fast, so quickly?
What do you mean eliminated?
Say it again?
What do you mean eliminated?
I think it was Elisad.
Yeah, no. I know who they're talking about. What do you mean eliminated?
That it had to be that he had to be removed, that he could no longer be a member, even joining our clan, that he had to leave.
Because is she trying to warn us? Ask her.
Because because Elisad accelerated the clan so much?
He did. He brought so much power. We could move so far forward and gain so much power. And his own power, his own freedom to move and act, brought him into places and to knowledge that he should not have had. But it is not that I'm concerned of. It is what happened once he was gone, once the power of the demon was no longer there. What happens to the household? When houses don't act according to tradition, houses are damaged. And this is damaging our house.
Oh. She doesn't think she can maintain the changes we're introducing. Yes, we're acting in accordance with the highest virtues of efficiency, but she doesn't think that we'll either be here long term in whatever aspect we choose to take that, and that once we're not here, they're just going to collapse.
Tell her to take us to the surface.
And while you're saying to each other, she says, smell the city right now. It does not smell like Ch'takdan. Will it ever smell like Ch'takdan again? I don't know. Whether you're here, whether you're not here, is it already gone and out of our ability to replace the smell of what the city should be?
How do you see this getting fixed? Or do we need to make our leave? Do you want to help us get out of here?
You must go. Yes, you must go. But I don't know how that will be. That's the council's decision to make. And either the council will want you to stay because some member of council still wants this greater power and it wants to change, but then that makes it like the cult. then we become the cult if that one's voice wins over the rest. Others are simply saying, kill them now. Kill them like the demon Illicit. Get rid of them immediately because they're too much of a threat and a danger to us. But then the others will say, honor the bargain. According to tradition, we made a bargain, we made a pact, honor the pact, and once their tasks are done, show them the way out to the hell.
Why is she telling us this?
Yeah. Why are you bringing this to us now?
Because I don't know how we are proceeding. I don't know what's going to happen next. That the city itself seems to be crumbling. That order seems to be crumbling. It's as though everything in Chetak is coming apart.
Thanks for listening. If you, like all of us, want an Inurriak Shock Troop plushie, back us on subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge so we can finally get some merch going. You can also send us other plushie ideas at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Empire's Edge.